Hello to all PC hardware lovers. SSD is the kind of thing that can reanimate any 15-year-old bucket, that even launches a snake like Rockstar does GTA 6. That's why today I'm going to tell you about the types of SSDs and how to figure out what's the best for you. And please, don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's go! SSD form factors. There are 4 relevant form factors today: 2.5 inches SSDs, M2 SSDs, mSATA SSDs, and external SSDs. Let's talk closer about each form factor. 2.5 inch SSD, the most common and affordable type of SSDs. It has a suitable size of 2.5 inches, which can be placed in almost any PC. This type of storage has SATA interface that allows you to exchange data with the SSD. The speed of such storage device reaches 600 megabytes per second. If we take the current 3rd generation SATA into account, this is not to high speed, but it's enough for the fast work of system. The main advantage of 2.5 inches SSD is that it can be connected to SATA connectors of previous generations, i.e. to very old computers. Although the information transfer rate via SATA 2, for example, will be lower, it's definitely much better than hard disks with the same SATA. M2 SSDs, the type of SSDs that connects to the M2 connector on the motherboard. But there is very important, there are 2 types of such drives. M2 SATA is actually a standard SSD with a bandwidth up to 600 megabits per second, but smaller. M2 NVMe is a drive that has a PCI Express interface, which has a bandwidth up to 3500 megabytes per second. That makes M2 NVMe drive the fastest type of SSD. And here's the kicker. There are old M2 connectors with only SATA and there are new ones with both. They are different in the placement of the keys. And so if M2 SATA has 2 keys, M and B, which allows it to connect to both types of connectors, then NVMe has only one M. That's why old motherboards without suitable new M2 connectors will not work with it. Therefore, before buying, check which connector you have. mSATA is also just a SATA SSD, but for smaller devices or laptops. USB SSDs, external drives that allows you to easily transfer information between devices. Storage capacity, well, that's easy. 128 GB to install the system, 256 GB installing the system and games with apps, but not too much. 500 GB and more, install the system and everything else, even with a reserve. Shortly buy 256 or 500, and you will never know the pain. Now let's move on to the types of memory cells. These cells contain our information. NAND is the type of reading and writing from these cells. Accordingly, there are a number of memory types. SLC is the oldest type, which can contain 1 bit of information. MLC 2 bits, TLC 3 bits, QLC 4 bits, and PLC 5 bits. What I want to say, in this case, the more information one cell can contain, the less 1 GB of storage space costs, but the slower and less reliable it is. For example, a 500 GB storage device with TLC cells will cost less than its MLC equivalent, but it will be less reliable. But the difference will not be extremely high. There are also SSDs that have 3D marked next to the cell type. This drive has 3D NAND technology. In this case, the cells can be placed not only horizontally, but also vertically, in 3D space. In other words, they are thicker, but have much more cells. Brands. Here are some of brands of SSDs: Kingston, Samsung, Western Digital, Transcend, Silicon Power, and Adata. If you want extreme, you can bake in spec on AliExpress. Data transmission speed. Well, here the more the better. Of course, NVMe SSDs are the fastest, but regular SATAs are not bad either. Before buying, look at the tests on internet for SSD you are looking for. Let's summarize the results. As for the disk form factor, if you have M2 NVMe connector, then get the appropriate SSD for it. Yes, such drives are more expensive than SATA, but they are also faster. If you don't have the right connector, feel free to take a 2.5 inches SSD. They will also keep high speed. As for the types of cells, then take 3D TLC as a golden mean. I hope that I helped you to sort out this mess. I wish you a successful purchase. Don't forget to subscribe. Ciao.